the athletic director of North Carolina, Bubba Cunningham, is the head of the board or the chair of the selection committee, right? He is the president, the leader of the committee selecting the teams, and his team is on the bubble, and magically they get in. Now, here's another thing that I didn't know, which I heard Bailey told me this. Guess what he gets if UNC gets in the tournament? $104,000 bonus.
I would split that up with the boys. Maybe go little Twin Peaks action or something, Bailey. Shoulder shrug. Oh, yeah. It's like, hey, boys, listen. No pressure. I'm going to be in the other room. But if we do get in, we're going to have a hell of a time at Twin Peaks for these Thursday, Friday games.
Welcome into the Slobberknocker Sports Podcast, episode number 74.
Ooh.
We are here to talk everything March Madness. The bracket was revealed last night. We watched it together. We got to talk about the snubs. Obviously, North Carolina getting in, West Virginia getting left out. We're going to touch on that. We're going to have some Swan Dives of the week, a buzzer beater of the week, a lot of stuff on the 2-minute drill this week because we had conference championships to wrap up over the weekend. We crowned 31 conference champions in college basketball this weekend. 31 auto bids were punched, and then we saw all 37 at-large bids get given out last night. Had some controversy with the NIT that we were talking about before we got on the air, so plenty of stuff to cover here. We're going to jump into all of it. Before we do any of that, make sure if you're new to the channel, like and subscribe. Comment below. We will make a March Madness bracket group again for the Slobberknocker Sports Podcast this year, and if you beat all of us, then you will get a jersey of your choosing. A couple people got jerseys last year, so we'll do that again this year, and I'll put all the information to that in the description and on the website as well. So let's dive into all this stuff. Let's start with the best thing I saw this week. I don't know if you have one, but I do, and we'll jump right into it with the I guess kind of the 2-minute drill here from the start.
Watch out now.
All right, best thing we saw this week. Okay. I don't know if you saw this, but the dog jump roping in the SEC tournament, all right?
Unbelievable.
This is just beautiful to watch. Electric is what this dog was, jumping. Look at the little pink
I'll
shoes,
tell you
too.
what.
Well, hold on real quick. Before you say anything, I want you to watch the replay. Look.
Oh,
look.
my God,
Did you
it's
see that?
Brooklyn.
Did you see that?
Imagine if we taught Brooklyn this. She would be, amazing.
Wait till you see the end, though. Did you see the end? You missed the very ending.
Her face.
Watch, look. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, Brooklyn and Big Dog.
Brooklyn and Big
Holy
Dog. They were at
smokes.
the SEC tournament this
They were
weekend.
at the SEC tournament.
Performing. How about that?
Oh,
my dad
boy.
made me show this. He sent it to me, and he said that has to go on the podcast this week. Since he wasn't on this week, I said I would throw it on.
Is that actually Milla?
No, that's not Milla.
Oh, it looks just like her.
just like
Yeah,
Milla.
yeah.
She looks at the camera at the end like she got caught, too. It's pretty funny.
Oh, man, he's going to town.
He's going to
Out
town.
of here.
Right on Donald's face. Right on Donald's
I
face.
didn't even realize that was
Yeah,
a
that's
Donald
why he
Trump.
sent it to me.
Oh, Big Dog.
Do you have a best thing you saw this week or no?
Yeah, best thing I saw this week. That dog was fine, but it's nowhere in comparison to Red Panda. I believe Red Panda was at the SEC Championship.
Was
this
she
week
really?
as well, and went for a 5-bowler.
Oh, wow.
5 bowls off the foot, stacked it. You're going to have to find that video and maybe put it
electric.
up. Yeah, Red Panda's the best in the business. People that don't know who Red Panda is, just go look her up, okay?
Yeah, she's worth every
She's
penny.
worth the price of admission.
She's worth every penny. I didn't know she was there. I saw the dog doing the jump rope. I did not see Red Panda, but I've seen Red Panda plenty of times. So why don't they have other color pandas like green panda or black panda? Why is it only red?
Red Panda's the most rare.
Oh, is there a green panda or I don't know. What? Anyway.
Maybe.
Okay, head scratchers of the week. We got 2 of them. So we're gonna go to championship week. MEAC championship.
baby.
All right.
This
So
is
we've
real
got
ball.
South Carolina State taking on Norfolk State. The winner goes to the NCAA tournament. All right, NCAA tournament on the line. Probably going to be a 16 seed. Now, 2 minutes to go. South Carolina State is down by 10, and they look like they're dead in the water. But Wilson Dubinsky is going to hit the mid-range jump shot. Next possession, again, Dubinsky for 3. This guy averages 8 points per game. Couple possessions later, guess who? Wilson Dubinsky. Again, that's 8 straight. His teammates are loving it. They're back in this one, down by 5. Now a minute to go. And guess who is going to force this turnover? None other than Wilson Dubinsky. And Dubinsky's then going to get it back and score again.
Dang,
and now it's down
man.
to 3. This guy's on an absolute tear. They get the ball back with 17. They're now down by 4. Dubinsky again to the rim. 12 consecutive points in a minute 40 for Wilson Dubinsky, and it is down to 2. Now, last 12 seconds. South Carolina State trying to get it in. It is stolen
by Caleb McCarty. And Caleb McCarty
then fouls and didn't realize that they were tied after that steal. He intentionally fouled in a tie game.
Got to know time and score.
So instead of possibly heading to overtime, now Norfolk State to the free throw line. Christian Ings with 2 shots and a chance to put Norfolk State back up.
He's 74%, 5 of 7 from the free throw line. He's going to get this first one to go, and now they're up by 1 with 8.9 to go. Neither team any timeouts. Christian Ings for the second. No good on this one. Rebound, and now South Carolina State with a chance to win it. Get it to Dubinsky. He's coming around, but they don't give it to him. Instead, Jaden Jones fires it. It's in and out, and South Carolina State comes up 1 point short of the NCAA tournament because Caleb McCarty failed to understand that you don't foul in a tie game in a conference championship. That was a brutal loss.
Devastating.
Brutal loss.
So bad for Dubinsky.
Yeah, Dubinsky was balling. 8 points per game, had 24. All right, head scratcher number 2. You probably saw this one. Duke taking on North Carolina, ACC semifinal. We thought at the time that Duke needed to win this game. North Carolina needed to win this game to get into the tournament. Apparently, that was not the case.
When your athletic director runs the committee.
Yeah, we're going to get into that,
too.
You
don't have to do that.
Now, they were down by as many as 24 here in the second half. They made a valiant comeback.
I couldn't believe they came back.
Yeah, no Cooper Flag for Duke. They also were out without Malik Brown, another starter. So here they're up by 1, and Tyrese Proctor with a 1-and-1. He's 75%, misses it. Front end, no good. North Carolina dribbles it up and takes a timeout. We fast forward now, 15.1 to go in the game. North Carolina needs a bucket to probably head to the NCAA tournament. Elliot Cadeau with it. He's going to look inside, and he's going to find Van Allen Lubin, and Lubin is going to drive in. I don't think there was any contact here. They call foul. Now, it is funny because it looked like RJ Davis was going to get an easy tip, and instead, Van Allen Lubin, who is not a good free throw shooter, is going to go to the free throw line. All right, and he's 66% on the season, and the first one for Van Lubin is way off, and it's no good. Now, this is to tie it. 4.1 to go. Keep an eye on Jalen Withers on the left side, on the top of your screen in the middle of the 2 Duke players. I for the life of me, do not understand what that was. They're going to show a replay of it. It is a lane violation called. The free throw was made, would have tied the game with 4.1 to go. Instead, the free throw's waved off, and now North Carolina is basically dead in the water. I mean, what is he trying to... teammates are losing their minds. What is he trying to accomplish here? Like, for the life of me, I really can't understand.
Sure, he was going to go hustle in there and get a rebound, put it in. He didn't have any faith in homeboy.
No, he was doing that on purpose. He was jab stepping like he was going to fake somebody out or something. Like, I don't understand what in the world that was.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I've never seen anything like that. So.
And by the way, that's the same kid who last year in the NCAA tournament for North Carolina, they were up 1 with like 50 seconds to go and could run the clock. Basically, they could go 2 for 1. He had made 4 threes on the entire season, and he launched a 3 with 19 seconds to go, missed it, and then fouled Grant Nelson from Bama for an and 1 that lost them the game.
I remember that game.
Should have been back-to-back years he ended their season. He's going to get another chance to redeem himself in the first 4 because North Carolina robbed West Virginia of a spot. All right. One buzzer beater of the week, and it was kind of a cool story. I didn't know this was going on until I saw this live. Now, this is Akron versus Miami, Ohio, MAC championship. Now, this is John Gross, head coach of Akron. They're tied with 35.6 to go. He's taking on Miami, Ohio, coached by his brother, Travis Steele. They're the number 1 and number 2 teams in the MAC all season. Miami, Ohio, who's the 2 seed, was up by 20 in this game. Akron with an incredible comeback. Here's their mother right here, Barbara. Watching the game, Barbara Steele watching the game.
Barb.
Yep, and so here we go. 35 seconds to go. Chance for Miami, Ohio to win it. We fast forward to 12 seconds, and we're going to have Evan Ipsaro driving. He's going to miss this shot, an outlet to Nate Johnson, the best player for Akron, and he's going to float this up and in with 2.3 to go to give Akron a lead. Miami, Ohio with one last-ditch effort. It falls short. And Akron heads to the NCAA tournament. And if you didn't know this, Akron last year went to the tournament the same way that Norfolk State did. They were down by 1. Though.
Oh, I remember that against Kent State.
Fouled them down by 1, not knowing the score. Or maybe it was tied. But they ended up going on that. So
I do remember that one.
Akron going dancing. And that's how rare, though, if you think about it, is that you have two brothers in the MAC of all conferences, and they're the best two teams, and they get to the conference championship. Like, the odds of all of that happening are pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Cool story. Anyway, okay.
Swan Dive of the week.
Got 2 Swan Dives of the week, and I think this is what I've been wanting to get to here as we've been going through. These are fun.
You're excited about these bad
I'm excited.
beats.
These
You've
are
been telling me all week.
These are 2 of the worst bad beats I've seen in a long, long time. Okay. All right, Swan Dives of the week. I got an even better one coming up here. Ready? That's the Oh, wait. I don't know if I played it. Yeah, it is. The nominee. Here we go. Nominee of the week. He's about to jump off the ledge here, right? UTSA plus 4.5 against East Carolina. All right, so they're catching 4.5. You're down by 1 with 1:41 to go. My boy has the ball here. Marcus Millender. I've been high on this guy all year. He's going to drive in, scoop the layup up. It gets blocked. Now, there was a putback, but they called a goaltend here. They're going to go to review because all goaltends are reviewed, and they're going to look, and it's real close. It's hard to tell from this angle whether it hit the backboard first. You would think it probably stands. The other angle, it kind of looks like they got there first. They're eventually going to wave this basket off. And unfortunately, even though they have an imminent possession, they can't award them this basket. And so they kind of get screwed here. They get the ball back now. Same possession, and Marcus Millender says, you want to goaltend me on the first one? Fine. I'll go right to the rim again, and I'm going to score again regardless of whether you want to goaltend this. This kid is absolute nails. He's a stud. He's going to be at a high major program next year. I hope he stays.
The rest of the team sucks.
I know. So now, 1 minute to go. You're up 1. You're catching 4.5 here. This is R.J. Felton. Yes, that's Raymond Felton's nephew, and he's going to float this up and in. He makes a lot of tough shots just like big boy Ray did. So now you're down 1. UTSA gets the ball back. Huge possession, and they're going to turn it over, all right? So now, you're still down 1, though, and because there's about 11 seconds to go, you're going to play this out, right? You should be fine, because there's going to be 10 seconds to go. Well, unfortunately, Primo Spears has a different idea, and he decides to foul with 9 on the shot clock, and that's going to send R.J. Felton to the free throw line, who's 73% on the year. You're still only down by 1, 20 seconds to go. You're in okay shape here, so 1-1. He's going to roll the first one in to put him up 2 now. Now you're down 2. Second free throw for Felton is off the mark, but it's tapped out by East Carolina. They keep it alive, and now UTSA's got to foul again. And they do. This time they're going to foul Cam Hayes. He's an 86% free throw shooter. You know he's not missing, so he's going to knock the first one in with 14.8 to go. He's 3 of 3 on the night. Make it 4 of 4. Second one, good. You're now down by 4. Big possession. You got to have a bucket here, all right? Got to have a bucket. Who do you go to with the game on the line? Marcus Millender. Nails. Buckets again. Down to 2. 7.7. You're catching 4.5. Even if you foul here, you should be fine, right?
Should be. Did Mike get to go to the game? Was Mike
was there. Mike got to go. He
Nice.
texted me that he was on the way. Now, East Carolina getting the ball in. 7.7 to go. And they foul here with 6.1. Felt like there should have been more time off the clock than that. But regardless, 6.1. And we're going to have Jordan Riley to the free throw line, who's 72%. And he misses the first one. All right, so now here, you're thinking, okay, if he misses this, we have a chance to tie. If he makes it, they're probably going to foul here. He does roll in the second one, and they take a timeout here.
Yep.
All right, so now UTSA's got to draw something up to hit a 3, but even if they get it in and they foul, that's probably good for you. Well, UTSA knew they were going to foul. They tried to throw to their big man and give it right back to Millender for some misdirection. Unfortunately, East Carolina fouled immediately. And now the problem with that is that's going to send their worst free throw shooter to the free throw line. And this is Johnevius Smith. He's 1 of 6 from the free throw line tonight. And you need at least 1 make, and it's a 1-and-1. And so watch this. It's worse than you think. He's going to miss the front end. Okay, here it is. He misses the front end. It's loose. It's tipped out. Don't foul. Don't foul. It's a breakaway. We got it. Just dribble it out. Boom. And he slams it home to cover with 0.5 to go.
What a cover by East Carolina. That's
East Carolina gets it done. And just like that,
they did it for their fans.
Your ticket is garbage. It's in the trash can.
Good teams win. Great teams cover.
This has been like the third game they've played this year, and every single one of them has ended the same way. UTSA is winning in the last minute and finds a way to lose the game. And that eliminated UTSA from that tournament, but it really eliminated a lot of people's bank accounts because that was a bad one. All right, nominee number 2. You tell me which one is worse. That one was pretty bad. Nominee number 2, UC Irvine taking on UC San Diego Big West Championship. This was Saturday night, late in Las Vegas. Winner to the NCAA tournament. UC San Diego is one of my teams that I've liked all season long. All right, so
Triton.
here with about 5:45 to go, we're looking at the total. All right, so total is 135.5. With 5.5 to go, we're sitting at 104. We're looking okay. All right, we're gonna fast forward a little bit here now. 2:59 to go. UC San Diego with the ball. This is Tyler McGee, and he's gonna bang a three. He was 0 for 5 from 3 on the night before hitting that shot, and that's gonna put it up to 118. We're at 119 now with 149 to go. Okay, Hayden Gray drives in. He's going to score, but we're still okay, all right? Fast forward to 121. I'm sorry, 123. 123. Okay, so 123, 120 to go. You're up 11 here. And UC Irvine, like, do you really foul with 11, down 11 with 1:18 to go? I guess it's a big championship game, so they do.
Yep.
And that's going to send McGee to the line. He's going to hit both. He's a great free throw shooter. You're up 13 now. 1:14 to go, 125. You still have 11 to spare, or 10 to spare. Looked like a clean block here. Instead, they call a foul, okay? And those 2 free throws were good. They traded free throws, so we're going to fast forward a possession now. All right, 48 seconds to go, and this is where shit gets absolutely crazy, all right? So here's UC Irvine. If they don't score here, you would think that's game, right? They're probably not going to foul. They're going to launch a 3 here. Jurian Dixon's going to miss this. And UC San Diego has the rebound. The game is over. Don't foul. It's a 13-point game with 30 seconds to go. Are they going to foul? Not sure. Looked like they tried to there. They didn't call it.
Ref didn't call it.
And they throw it and dunk it here. So now we're at 131.
Yeah,
so you have 4 to spare now with 24.1. But the game's over. They're at 15, right? Even if UCI scores here, they're probably not going to foul. They're going to launch a 3. It's no good. Now, this shit gets absolutely crazy. UC San Diego has the rebound, but they signed up for 40. UCI signed up for 40. A launch of 3, no good. Rebound, they get a good look at a layup. That's no good. Offensive rebound, again, missed it again. They've given up. It's over. UC San Diego has the rebound, but they fouled. They fouled on the rebound with 5.5 to go, and if you're doing the math now, 5 points beats you. And there's a 1-and-1 coming for UC San Diego. And you better believe Chris Howell is nails from the free throw line. First one, good, 132. Second one is down the hatch. And now they're celebrating. They're not even showing it. The clock's running. Oh, no, here comes Torian Lee. He hadn't made a shot the whole game. Bang! With 1 second to go.
That's pretty bad.
And just like that, UC San Diego is going dancing, and your ticket is going in the garbage can, and you're swan diving off the Tower of the Americas if you had that one, because that was a brutal one.
That one's, listen, here's the thing. That one's really bad, real bad. But the thing is, the East Carolina one's still worse because these days, no one, at the end of the game when there's like less than 5 seconds, no one dunks the ball. I guess the only argument I could say is it was still a 3-point game, right?
Yeah.
When he dunked it. So like maybe that was it, but still it's typically with less than 3 seconds of their dribbling, they typically dribble it out. This one, I've seen so many totals just get fucked in college games with people fouling down. You know, so I've seen somewhere there's like 2 minutes left, and it's like, should be a winner, and the coach is like, let's get up there and let's extend the game and have another 30 points.
I agree,
scored.
But I mean,
this one's still real bad. They're both real bad.
When it's 5 in that last possession and it's over, it's like, oh, even if they score here, no matter what happens, they're not going to foul.
And they're not
and
gonna
the
foul,
only way it could happen is on a missed shot rebound. But
like the fact that the ref even called the foul on the grab, like they typically don't. They let them grab it and then let them throw it out. Like
usually that's not called. Yeah, I mean, if you had,
they're both real bad.
If you had both of those, I need to know your name. Comment below. I need to know your name. That's it. Okay.
That's funny.
All right. Swan dive of the week. 2-minute drill over. Let's move on. We got a lot to talk about here. We're going to do a bunch of stuff. We'll do some top 5 lists. We'll do some bracket breakdown. Let's jump in. Let's talk about the last 4. Let's talk about the bracket. That's the big topic, right? So bracket gets revealed last night. All right. We had the field released. We knew 31 teams that were in. We had a good idea of about 60 teams, 60 to 63 teams that were in. And we were trying to everybody was trying to figure out who was in, who was out. Lenardi, I believe, for the first time in a couple years, missed more than one team. He had both Texas and North Carolina out. They both got in. Let's look through this. Okay, so last 4 in officially, according to the committee, was Texas, Xavier, San Diego State, and North Carolina as the final team in. So in that order. And then the first team out was West Virginia, Indiana, Ohio State, and Boise State. I want to talk about this. So we have a lot to talk about from what happened here, right? So let's start with number 1, the big topic, which is that it's a combo of these 2 things. But essentially, right, everybody's talking about this. The athletic director of North Carolina, which I didn't know this until you sent this to me yesterday, but the athletic director of North Carolina, Bubba Cunningham, is the head of the board or the chair of the selection committee, right? He is the president, the leader of the committee selecting the teams, and his team is on the bubble, and magically they get in. Now, here's another thing that I didn't know, which I heard Bailey told me this. Guess what he gets if UNC gets in the tournament? $104,000 bonus. So he literally, I mean, that's literally like...
I would split that up with the boys. Maybe go little Twin Peaks action or something, Bailey. Shoulder shrug. Like, yeah, it's like, hey, boys, listen. No pressure. I'm going to be in the other room. But if we do get in, we're going to have a hell of a time at Twin Peaks for these Thursday, Friday games.
My guess is he made some sort of a deal like that. The committee tried to save face, and they came out and said, Bubba Cunningham wasn't in the room for the vote or whatever. Bullshit. Doesn't matter. He was influencing them from the start. You're on the committee. You're meeting. You're discussing this. They had no business being in. I saw this stat. So there was a guy who tweeted this out, Matt Schick. The latest bracket metrics, there were 111 bracketologists who actually filled out who would make it, who wouldn't, and had brackets made. Okay, experts that just do this, right? This is what they do. Out of those 111 brackets filled out, all 111 had West Virginia in the field. 50 had Texas, 30 had Xavier in, and 27 had North Carolina in the field. The odds before this, North Carolina was plus 400 to get in the field. And West Virginia, you could not bet them. They were off the board because they were locked.
Really?
That's how crazy that is.
You know, the thing is, I know that Lenardi had West Virginia as like one of the last four in, right?
He had last four buys.
Oh, last four buys.
I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe it meant last. I don't remember,
The only thing I can say
No,
in
you're
regards,
right. It might be last four in.
The only thing I can say in regards to that is obviously DeVries isn't playing, right? DeVries or whatever.
Yeah, but he's been out for 3 months.
Sure. But, I mean, most of their win over Arizona, he played in the game. There's a lot of wins that he played
True,
in.
But they did win at, I believe they won at Kansas and beat Iowa State.
Listen,
those two wins alone, even without DeVries, are more quad wins than UNC.
Right. I'm not arguing. I definitely would have rather seen West Virginia in the game or in the tournament. I honestly probably would have not, weirdly enough, I probably would have not gone West Virginia with as the other team, but I certainly wouldn't have gone North Carolina. I will say that whether he wanted it to be influenced or not, the problem is if you're on, I don't think there's any simple solution to it, right? Because here's the thing. He's on the committee. I know North Carolina hasn't been, great the last couple of years. Typically, North Carolina's always in the tournament, right? We can all agree that they didn't deserve to get in the tournament at this time, but it's one of those deals that you're right. There's no way to take, whether they wanted to keep it unbiased or not, there's no way to take the bias out of it, right? Say you were the chairman or whatever, we're friends on the board, you're Texas's athletic director, and it's like, they're on the bubble. Like, if everybody likes you in the room, no matter what you say, it's like, they're more likely to get the nod.
Sure.
Because it's like, hey, we're splitting hairs here. Their net's 36. These other teams have nets that are so you could make, in their mind, you could make the argument, and North Carolina's basketball royalty. So it's like, we would rather have them in as a brand. So not to say they should have done it, because they absolutely should not have been in the tournament this year, but it's just one of those deals where it's like, everybody's like, this is ridiculous that this is what goes on. But if we're going to have athletic directors on the board, and that's a whole other argument if we're not. I agree. I think it should be just a completely,
It should be former athletic directors, former players, former coaches.
Yeah.
It should be no current anything. Why? That makes absolutely zero sense.
I would agree. So if you take all them out of it, I completely agree, right? If not, then there is no easy fix for it. There's always going to be some sort of bias. So that's
why the same thing happened with NC State. When Florida State got left out, the chair of the selection committee was NC State's athletic director, and everybody said, you're the ACC, you're an ACC guy. How did Florida State get left out? So they said the opposite thing when it went the other way. Like, how on earth did Florida State not get in? Now, they deserve to be in, so that's different, right? But it's just, again, you don't know. Maybe he doesn't like Florida State as an ACC guy. So you have this, you just create this ridiculous inherent bias. I mean, it's like, It's almost like the same type of deal. It's like we're looking at the housing crisis where like the people grading the and I'm getting off topic here, but people grading the mortgages that were all terrible bonds or whatever, they were being paid by the people who created the bonds, right? So it's like, it was a complete contradiction. It's like, you don't get your money if you don't give them a good grade. Same thing here, right? It's like, well, this guy is the chairman committee. He's North Carolina's athletic director, and we are talking about North Carolina. There's an inherent issue right there. Like, that should just be red flag number one. I mean, he could have recused himself when they were on the bubble or like 2 months ago. I mean, it's like, it doesn't make any sense. Now, I'm sure he wouldn't have done that, but it's just, I don't know. It's ridiculous to me that and then you add in, honestly, if you add in now I'm sure he probably could prove if this is true that he didn't have like actually say anything or lobby anyone. Even if he didn't, like you said, there's still inherent bias there. But even if he didn't, it's like, well, that's almost borderline illegal. The fact that he stands to benefit monetarily from that, you get a $104,000 bonus if they get in and you're the head of the committee. Am I going to be like, yeah, no, I think it's unfair if we get in? You're never going to say that. So there's just it's a stupid system. It's a really, really stupid system. Now, I will ask you this. Is North Carolina, if they do anything, it's going to be like, because we do sometimes see teams who don't deserve to get in win a game or two. Say best case scenario, they win their first 4 game against San Diego State, and then they win that first game in the NCAA tournament, and they get to the second round, and then they lose in the second round. That's like, I would say, best case scenario, right? You still lose in the second round, and everybody knows you didn't deserve to be in. Would you rather have just not been in and not had this controversy? Like, if you're sitting back as a North Carolina fan, are you happy you were in the tournament? Or are you just like, you know what, it makes no sense for us to be in. We're not going to win anyway. And now this is a terrible look on us having our athletic director who basically put us in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure some people are happy. Some people are just like, don't care and be like, we shouldn't be in anyway. I mean, they had 3 cracks at Duke, right? And the last crack was without Cooper Flagg and Malik Brown. Yeah, so I mean, they didn't win, and obviously Duke's a wagon. I'm not saying they're not, even with
the only good
even
team
without right. But here's where,
by the way, they also had a quad 3 loss to Stanford at home.
Right, and the biggest factor in this to me is with the way the committee seeded the tournament, they said and told us that the ACC is no good.
Right.
They made Louisville, who won 13 games in a row going into that.
18-2 in the ACC.
An 8 seed.
Yeah.
Okay? And you're going to put North Carolina as the last. I mean, that makes no sense. You can't. Clemson, that's the double standard where it's like, okay, if you thought the conference was better and they just struggled and lost close games, and you put them in, like, okay, but yeah, that's why you just like, this kind of stinks to high heaven. You have Louisville as a 5 seed or something, and then Clemson as a 4, and you're like, oh no, we think the ACC is actually pretty good.
And what's funny is you look at it like, actually, I think West Virginia got screwed more than one way by North Carolina, in the sense that if you look at this, okay, let's say, for example, they wanted to put North Carolina in, which they did, right? Who can they not leave out in that case? And I didn't think about this till today. The team that cannot be left out if you put North Carolina in is Xavier. And the reason that is because Xavier has a slightly better resume than North Carolina, minus the net ranking, and they have 1 quad win as well. So it's like, okay, if we're going to put North Carolina in, we can't leave Xavier out because we're rationalizing it, saying, well, the quad 1 wins aren't what we're looking at. We're going to look more at like the net ranking, right? That's how you have to qualify putting North Carolina in my opinion. So like, to me, if they had left Xavier out and put West Virginia in, there probably would be less controversy, but then you'd have people saying, which makes sense, how can you put them above Xavier? Like, they had 1 quad 1 win, so did Xavier, and Xavier had a little bit better resume, so how did they get left out? So they're trying, I swear they took a line of logic to be able to explain this. Like, I truly believe that. I truly believe that they probably thought West Virginia was better than Xavier, and they threw San Diego State in between the two of them just to make it look like there was another team there. I don't buy that for a second. Not for 1 second. I think they were like, we're either putting North Carolina and Xavier in, or we're putting West Virginia and Indiana in. And it's just depending on what are we looking at. And this brings out the problem, and we don't have to spend too much more time on this, but what do we look at when why do we have...
Well, the committee still hadn't answered. It was the same thing last year. Indiana State had a better net ranking than everybody. And
29 in the net.
Didn't even stiff the tournament.
Yeah.
And so it just doesn't make... It's like... They pick and choose what they want to go off.
Right. Ohio, if we're going to go off in net, you look at just looking at this last 4 in, first 4 out, Ohio State was 41, San Diego State 52. So, like, they're 11 spots better in the net ranking, but they had 15 losses. That's why Ohio State didn't get in, because they had a bunch of quad 1 wins. They had like 6 quad 1 wins. They won at Purdue, beat Michigan State, but they lost a bunch of games, and that was the factor that left them out. Well, why are we not looking at that same factor for North Carolina, in the sense that, also, I don't understand how the net ranking even fucking works, and I'm sure somebody smarter could explain it to me, but my point being is, how on earth, if North Carolina went 1-12 versus quad 1s and has a quad 3 loss, are they ranked higher than than any of these other teams like Texas, who had 6 quad 1 wins?
I guess the only reason is it must be strength of schedule. That's the only thing that
But
matters.
if you look at strength of schedule, there's no way Texas had a stronger strength of schedule than North Carolina.
No, North Carolina had like number 5 in the entire country.
Overall?
Yeah, it was something crazy. That's why their net was that way.
I thought that was just non-conference strength of schedule. I could be wrong.
Well, no, that maybe non-conference strength. That makes way more sense.
Because their ACC wasn't a single ranked matchup all year. There's no way they were 5th.
Yeah. I don't know. I just know that's what someone was talking about, and they were like, "That's why they're 36 in the net." And I was like, "Well, that doesn't make any sense."
It makes no sense.
It's probably non-conference. Yeah. That makes way more sense.
Strength of schedule.
Yeah,
they're not 5th. They're not 5th. They're way down. They're 25th in strength of schedule. So non-conference, they were. Let's see. Non-conference, they were 4th.
Okay.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
So non-conference, they were top 5. But look, we're talking about the entirety of it, not just non-conference. And they have rewarded teams who challenged themselves in the non-conference. But Texas didn't challenge themselves. They played nobody. They had like the 220th ranked non-conference strength of schedule. And they lost multiple games. They lost to Ohio State, who's a bubble team. So there's just no logic to it. They obviously, it comes down to this. It's a money grab, right? This is a money grab. We're living in a time where these guys are getting paid and there's less money going to people who have traditionally made money in the past. So the bigger markets get in. Who are we going to get watching the game more on a Tuesday night in the first 4? North Carolina fan base or West Virginia, right? Who's the blue blood? Who's going to draw more if they win that first game? Who's going to draw more fans to the city that they go to in the first round?
Right.
Well, North Carolina, Texas, North Carolina, right? Although I would argue that like 30 to 40% of Texas fans were rooting for Texas to not get in yesterday because they want Rodney Terry gone. I being one of them. Regardless, any other, just quickly as we're looking through the bracket, if you pull up the bracket, any other, you mentioned Louisville as a team that was misseeded. Any other just like seeding discrepancies?
I thought that was the worst one.
That was the worst one. That one was pretty bad. I mean, we were discussing a little bit about the SEC schools. Like, I didn't quite understand how Oklahoma was a 9 and Vandy and Arkansas were 10s. That said, I think you'd rather be a 10 than a 9. So I don't think there's like a big deal there or anything. And I think sometimes they do this by location. So it'll be like, okay, they're between a 5 and a 6 or a 5 and a 7, but we're going to, if they're the higher seed, we're going to give them the benefit of the location. So they'll kind of move teams around a little bit. But I'm looking through here. I don't have a ton of discrepancies, to be honest. I thought that the one I didn't like was Michigan State was ranked technically as the worst number 2 seed. To me, that's garbage. I would say they were probably at worst, they're the 3rd. Like, to me, Alabama is by far worse than Michigan State. So you put Michigan State in Auburn's bracket. And you put Alabama in Duke's bracket. Now, you're splitting hairs there. Which one would you rather be in as a 2 seed? I don't know, but I'm just saying, looking at that at first, that jumped out to me watching the show. I was like, why are they considered the worst number 2 seed? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I mean that's the Louisville one. I didn't necessarily agree with Alabama being there as the 2. I would have done the same thing as you. I thought Michigan State should have been ahead of them. The problem is, if you look at the 3 seeds, right? I don't have any problem with them putting Alabama in front of all those 3 seeds.
No, I don't disagree with that.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
don't disagree.
It was just kind of like who's going to get that last spot on the 2 line, and I guess it probably was Alabama because they played pretty well in the SEC tournament.
They
got that win at Auburn that people kind of keep forgetting about just because it was right before the tournament.
Early in the year too.
No, they won at Auburn like the last week of the season. Alabama.
Oh, I thought you said Duke. No. Alabama did win it.
So that's like, I think that's why they went from a 3 to a 2.
No, that was a huge win for sure. But I mean, also I just noticed that they probably purposely did that, but there's no 1 and 2 seed from the same conference. So like Houston and Tennessee, Duke and Bama, St. John's and Florida, Auburn, and
why those are switched. They just said, hey, we're going to put them there.
I would say the only other one I didn't like, and there's a couple, like, to me, I thought that, not that I think Gonzaga deserves a higher seed, but just from the perspective of you're Houston, you're 30-4, you're the 3rd number 1 seed, and your second round game is going to be Georgia or Gonzaga. Gonzaga specifically is a top 15 KenPom team. Now, we've talked about it all year. They're overrated, but they are playing a little bit better as of now. They won the WCC championship over St. Mary's by double digits. So I don't know. That's kind of a tough little spot for Houston to have them in the second round. And then the other one I hated was also in that bottom right region, which is, I thought Purdue was heavily overseeded. That 4 seed to me, I thought they were going to be a 6 or a 7. I mean, they were, I don't know what they fit. I think they were they 4th in the Big Ten? I think they were 4th. They had no business being a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. They are not good. they are at best a 6 seed in my opinion. So I did not like that they were a 4 seed. I think High Point is a live dog to beat them in the first round there.
And those stats I was telling you about, where the guy posted on Twitter, it was the 12 seeds to the 16 seeds and what they did against top 100 teams. Yale, by the way, had the best results by far. It was like they had beaten 2 top 100 teams and they lost to someone by 4 and another one by like 5, and someone was just talking about how live of a dog they probably are against A&M, just because, not that A&M's bad, but they just play typically lower scoring,
don't make shots,
games.
don't make free throws.
That's
been playing
why
well.
that matchup for Houston, you said could be, not that Yale plays away, but I'm just saying, like, Houston and Gonzaga can score with anybody. So if Houston's shots aren't going in, right?
No,
Gonzaga's just going to shoot a shit ton of threes. They're either going to go in or they're not.
No, I agree with that 100%. Do you want to go through the bracket here and pick it and we'll just talk through the games that we like, don't like, or whatever?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So we'll start in the top left, which is, I believe, the South region. Yeah. So we'll skip. I think we're both obviously picking Auburn. I'm going to write mine down just so I don't. This won't be my official one, but it's just this is kind of like my first glance because I really haven't looked much at this until today and what I saw yesterday. Okay, we got Louisville versus Creighton, and we're going to guess the lines here too. We said we're going to do that. So Louisville versus Creighton. I'm going to guess. I tried to bring it up here too. If you can't see it, I can zoom in.
Dang it, there's lines on this one.
Don't look at them.
I didn't.
I think Turner looked at the lines and he's going to cheat.
No. I just saw that
joking.
one, by the way, so I'll let you guess.
The
only one I saw.
Oh, you saw Louisville Creighton?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to say Louisville is a... Man, they don't have Creighton ranked very high. I'll say Louisville's 3.5.
I think it said 2.5.
2.5 Louisville? Okay. So Louisville, I like Louisville in that matchup. I
think Louisville will beat Creighton.
I will say this, though. Louisville was down 15 to Stanford in the quarters of the ACC tournament. Should have lost. I actually was going to put that Chucky Hutburn game winner on there, but I didn't. I watched them play a lot because I've been doing a lot of money line favorite parlays, where I take like 4 or 5 favorites that I think have a high chance of winning and parlay them together, and it pays a little close to even money. But I had Louisville in there a lot, and in their defense, they won every time I had them in. However, 4 or 5 games down the stretch against Virginia Tech, Stanford, like bad ACC teams, Notre Dame, they played very tight games versus below average teams, and I don't know what their answer is for Kalkbrenner inside if he's playing well. Like he is an X factor. I don't know. I wouldn't say this is a lock by any means. I'm going to lean Louisville here. Very tight game.
It's going to be a close game.
Here's an interesting one. My boys all year have been UC San Diego. I mentioned them on the show last week. I hate that they're such a trendy pick here. I'm curious what this line is, man. I can't imagine Michigan being more than a 5-point favorite. I'm gonna say 5. I'll say 5.
Say Michigan by 7.
Who do you like in that one?
Michigan.
You think they're gonna win?
They've been playing better lately.
You don't think UC San Diego has a shot?
Yeah, they do. Sure.
The thing about it is that I don't like is they're a trendy upset pick.
Yeah.
And everybody's gonna be picking them, so I don't like that part of it. That said, the line is. Holy shit. It's Michigan minus 2.5. Wow. I'll tell you what right now. I am picking UC San Diego then because that's going to be a heavy public play. People playing Michigan minus 2.5. That's going to be a very heavy public play.
Is it really? It's
2.5. 2.5. Well, you think about it, dude, UC San Diego in the Ken Palm is like 33. So like if you're looking at the metrics, they probably are only a 3. I bet Ken Palm has it 3.
Yeah.
So
I also forgot too that that's not a 4-13. It's a 12-5.
It's a 12-5.
Half the betting public is always on the 12, and that's the trendiest one. So it's probably like, yeah. I mean, I think that line. Honestly, I think that line should be Michigan. I thought 7 was too many. Like I wouldn't like at that rate. I would say, I'd back UC San Diego to cover that, but. I think that line should be at least 4. Michigan just won the Big Ten tournament, and they're playing a Big West team.
I do agree with you, but I will say this: teams that win their conference tournaments
they're beat
that are not like top 2 or 3 seeds are very vulnerable to upsets early on. We saw it, especially in the Big Ten. We saw it a couple years ago with Iowa. Iowa ran through the Big Ten tournament like 3 or 4 years ago with Peyton Sandfort, and everybody's playing so good, and they go out in the first round, and it was the same thing. They were a 5-12, and they played Richmond, and nobody picked Richmond, and Richmond beat them outright by 10. So, those type of teams, because you think about it, okay, they outperformed expectation for a week, so now they're due to come back down to their average, right? B, they just played a bunch of games in a row in a much more physical conference than, say, UC San Diego plays in, right? With better athletes and better teams. They're more worn down. They're the team that's supposed to win, and there's pressure on you there. That's going to be a fun game. I will say this. I'm picking UC San Diego. I do not think that if I'm wrong, Michigan blows them out. Like, I don't think there's a scenario here where UC San Diego comes in, it's like, oh, they're overmatched, and it's clear that, like, everybody was wrong about this one. No. I think if Michigan wins, it's going to be a tight game. Michigan plays everybody fucking close.
No, yeah, I think it'll be a close game.
But I'm going to say UC San Diego wins this by 3.
I'll take Michigan by 5.
Okay. Here's another one. You just mentioned it. A&M versus Yale. Guess the line, and then tell me who you like. Or I'll guess it too.
I'm going to say they made A&M I always forget these tournament games they just make because they're always so close. A&M by 8.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say 8.5, so I'll say 8.5. It is total A&M 7.5. Open 7.5.
I think Yale's going to keep that game really close.
Do you think they can? Do you think they will win it?
Yeah, I'll make this an upset.
Yale?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say A&M.
It's funny because A&M just does not play. I know they have that one win at home against. They beat Auburn, right? In that game, and Auburn's lost.
They did. They beat Auburn at home, but before that, they had lost like 4 in a row, and then they lost to Texas in the SEC tournament. So it's like they have not played well down the stretch, with the exception of the Auburn game.
I'll say this: Yale's got. I haven't really seen them play much. I know that like I said, their numbers against top 100 teams are definitely not bad. To me, they better have a guard that can just like really handle the ball, because in just the way that A&M guards, who I don't know. I'll take Yale to stay with. I'm gonna pick an upset. I think they'll stay within whatever 7.5.
I have watched, like I told you yesterday, I've watched more college basketball, and I'm a big college basketball guy in general already. I've watched more this year than ever. This is one team I have not watched play once. I have not seen them play.
I think I only saw them play
once
early on against somebody like way early.
Yeah, but I will say traditionally Ivy League schools do well in the tournament. We saw Princeton.
They can shoot free throws.
They can shoot free throws.
Make threes.
Damn straight they can shoot free throws.
Make the threes.
Why is
shoot
that?
The free throws because they're disciplined. They're disciplined ball clubs.
They're junkyard dogs. They're scrappy.
That's right.
They're very, very they're hustle guys. Okay, next one. We got the play-in game. Do you think North Carolina takes care of San Diego State, first of all?
I just don't think San Diego State's very good, so I'll say yes.
They have.
I mean, if you look at what they've done lately, like I get early on in the year, they're a pretty good team. They lost to UNLV. They just lost to Boise State on a neutral floor by like 11. I don't know. I'll take North Carolina.
I'm going to take North Carolina too, but San Diego State does have their best player, and the guy who makes them go is their point guard, and he has the ability to, like, in March guards win, and I could see him, if he plays well and RJ Davis doesn't, they could pull an upset, but they have not played well, like you said.
Yeah.
I think North Carolina wins it. I do not think North Carolina beats Ole Miss.
Will you scroll down on that screen, by the way?
Yeah.
So I can see those
I don't have I don't have a line for that, obviously, because we don't know what that line would be, but I'll take Ole Miss to beat the winner of that game.
Oh, yeah, I think Ole Miss beats the winner of that game.
Usually one of the first 4 teams that wins a game, but I don't think it's this one. I think if it is, it's going to be Texas.
And then
I'll
also say Ole Miss is going to go to the Sweet 16.
Okay, so you're already penciling Ole Miss.
Yeah, because, I mean, like I said, earlier in the year, I put the...
What happened to Iowa? You said they were picking them to win the national title. You're going back on your word, motherfucker.
First of all, I'm not going back on my word. I'm going to put a jinx on anybody. Their best player, they announce, is out for the tournament. So
they're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't, I feel bad for that whole fan base.
Well, here,
I ruined them.
I'll go one step further and tell you right now, I didn't know Keyshawn Gilbert was out. Before that, I wouldn't have done this, but I'm taking Lipscomb to beat Iowa State. Upset of the tournament right there. Lipscomb will take down Iowa State in the first round. Lipscomb should be a 13 seed. They're a 14. Iowa State has struggled mightily. They lost to K-State at home. They lost to some not great teams. I like Lipscomb a lot. They have a really good little point guard. I'm taking Lipscomb to pull the upset there, which means I will have Ole Miss in the Sweet 16 as well. All right. What's that line on Iowa State? What's the line on Iowa State Lipscomb?
Well, it's probably off the board, or if they've updated it with Gilbert out, I don't know.
Oh, what would you guess with him out?
With him out, Iowa State by 9.
It is. I didn't. It's 14.5.
Okay. Yeah.
Dear Lord. That's a bit.
I would have guessed it was probably like, I probably would have said 13 with him playing, but like, yeah, I didn't know.
It's a lot of points.
A lot of points.
I may be taking Lipscomb in that one. Okay. Next one. We got Marquette, New Mexico. Marquette, New Mexico.
I think
7-10.
Marquette's. I think they're probably the most overrated team in the country. Don't think they're any good. I'll take New Mexico.
I'm gonna take New Mexico
especially with
as
how
well.
bad they were coming in the tournament, like how bad they got beat, and it was everybody's trendy pick last year. I'd go New Mexico. Well, imagine them if they had Toppin this year. They would be.
Oh my gosh.
Nasty.
I'm
glad he's at Texas Tech.
I'm gonna say the line though. I think Marquette's favored by 4.5 is my guess.
I'll say 3.5.
It is. It opened 4.5, and it is now 3.5.
Okay.
There you go. So we're both right.
Close.
Okay. So yeah. So we're right though. There's money on on New Mexico right away, right there. I think people have watched how Marquette has trended. Now New Mexico hasn't been stellar down the stretch either. They've been good, but not. They lost in the Mountain West tournament to Boise. I think they won their last 4 games, but they beat Air Force, Nevada, UNLV, and San Jose State, the bottom of the Mountain West. Before that, they had lost at San Diego State, at Boise State. So. Interesting game there. New Mexico was everybody, including our trendy pick last year, and they got stomped by Clemson. It wasn't even close, like down 20 in the first 15 minutes of the game. So looking to redeem themselves probably there. Okay.
It's so weird that they're still this good, and they've lost Mashburn, House, and Toppin.
Gotta believe.
Like, imagine if all those guys were still there. I guess House had to leave, right?
Yeah, House graduated, I believe, but the other 2 transferred.
Mashburn went to Temple.
What a dumb move. He did. He got
money.
paid, but still, I mean, why would you leave? That you just were in the NCAA tournament. You're all coming back. They should have all come back.
Yeah.
I'm sure Toppin got paid.
He did. He got paid a lot.
He got paid
money,
plenty. I'm sure. Which that's a good move for him. Like whatever. He's gonna be a pro. Yeah. He's very, very good. But yeah, I don't know. That was Rick. You got to believe Richard Pitino is gonna take a big job this year. I would think.
Right.
If one opens up. By the way, they were saying, and I don't know if you heard this. I'll mention this real quick. They were saying it could be really, really shitty for West Virginia. If West Virginia, gets left out of the tournament, and then, they fired Fran McCaffrey at Iowa, and DeVries is from Iowa, and they're saying that's the one job that he may leave after 1 year to go to.
Oh, he'll take it.
And so if he's from
Iowa, he'll
they
take
could
the
lose.
Iowa job.
They could lose. Drake. Right?
Yeah.
They could lose not go to the tournament and then lose him in the process of it back to back after losing the greatest coach ever in Bobby Huggins.
I'm sure he'll take the.
Your boy.
Love you, Huggy Bear.
Huggy Bear.
And he needs a job.
Isn't Huggy Bear the name of a Shimako song, Bailey? Yeah, that's right.
We might have him come perform that live.
Huggy Bear.
Oh, by the way, Bailey, off topic, but I heard you saw him the other day. I heard he put on a performance of a lifetime. Dude, I wish if you would have called me, I would have gone up there.
Where did Shimako play again?
Fideos.
Was that where he normally plays sometimes?
Yes.
Yeah, they love him over there.
Shout out Shimako. My man.
It's wherever they allow him, Bailey. Yeah. There's not normal for him, yeah. Michigan
next?
State, Bryant. We're both picking Michigan State. What do you think the line is there? I'm going to say 24.5.
I'm going to say...
You want a hint?
I'm going to say 19.5.
Yeah, you're closer. It's 18.5, yeah. I guess Michigan State offensively, not as great. We'll come back and we'll kind of get we'll go through the second round and stuff. Florida, Norfolk State, we're both picking Florida. We're not going to even guess that one. Okay, here's a good matchup. My dad, Big Dog, didn't Big Dog predict this one? UConn, we're now in the bottom left.
Did Big Dog pick UConn?
No, you don't remember this? He walked in yesterday, he said, Oklahoma's going to upset UConn. I said,
first of all, no one knows what Big Dog picked. It's sealed in an envelope in his office.
Well, then why did he say that?
Yeah, he doesn't know. He thinks they might win, but he's got it.
Keeping his options open until the game is decided.
Got his picks.
Okay.
Yeah, Oklahoma's gonna win the game. UConn sucks.
I'm gonna say Oklahoma is favored in that game by 1. That's my guess.
I'm gonna say Oklahoma by 2.
But you think they'll win the game?
Yeah, I
think it'll be close.
Yeah, but I just don't think UConn's very good.
Wow, dude, we're way off on this one. Connecticut's favored by 4.5.
Dude, they've been high on Connecticut all year. They fucking suck. Take Oklahoma in that. People at home, I'm retired. You take Oklahoma.
I like Oklahoma in that one, too. That's a crazy number to me. I guess I'm off on their ranking with Oklahoma. I guess they're pretty outside.
They always have UConn favored in those games. They UConn favored by 4 against Creighton.
Yeah, and they got their ass beat.
And Creighton beat them in the regular season, I think, too. Maybe not. I don't know. I thought they did.
They asked, Creighton owns Dan Hurley. They asked Dan Hurley if he thought he could three-peat, and he's like, yeah, there's definitely a path for us.
Oh, yeah, because they beat Yeah, they beat them when they were there, and there was Dan Hurley pointing at his finger about his rings, right? Or did UConn win that game or lose that game when he was screaming?
They won that game, but that was, I believe,
or something. He was pointing.
Wait, was that at Creighton? Then they lost that game, I think, because they never. I don't know. I thought they lost that game.
No idea.
Anyway, but that game he was leaving, they won. I thought that was somewhere else. I don't know.
Dan Hurley gets bounced in the first fucking round.
I do too. I mean, he's become insufferable.
I'm tired of him.
I'm tired of him too. He's become absolutely insufferable. Here's an interesting one. All right, we got the 5-12 here. Colorado State was not going to be in the tournament. They won the Mountain West tournament. They had won, I believe, 9 or 10 straight now. And they come into this one taking on Memphis. Memphis won the regular season in the AAC and won the conference tournament. Had a couple of very tight games, lost a couple of games in league play, but had a bunch of tight games in the tournament, conference tournament, that is. Does Colorado State pull the upset here?
Yeah, I just think they're too hot. I think they're going to win the game. I don't know. Memphis is a better team. I think Colorado State's so hot, they're going to win. I would also like to say that this region, and bracketologists and other people may say I'm wrong, this is by far the best region in the whole deal.
Let's see. I'm looking through this. Memphis, Colorado State.
I think it is. I think Maryland's the best region. I think Maryland's a good basketball team. Memphis is a really tough 5 seed, even though Colorado State can beat them. Missouri, when they're hot, can beat anybody. Drake's a good team. Texas Tech's good. And St. John's is playing better than anybody in the country. I mean, it's like a gauntlet of the other
I actually don't think it's close. I think it is. I think the West region is by far the toughest.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's close. Actually, looking at this, I mean, look at just I think St. John's is the best 2 seed. I would argue Tech is the best 3 seed.
Yeah.
The 4, it's not even an argument. Maryland is the best 4 seed.
Yeah, it's weird.
And I think Florida, even though they're the 4th 1 seed, I think they're the best 1 seed.
And you have the reigning national champs. Obviously, they're not near as good as the 8.
And like you said, you have like Oklahoma's playing well. Memphis is a conference champion. Grand Canyon won a game in the tournament last year. Missouri is like a dark horse to make a run with their athleticism. Yeah. Drake is good. Yeah. I mean, this whole region, this is a gauntlet. Arkansas and Kansas is a first round matchup.
I know, it's like Kansas was a preseason number 1 team, weren't they?
They were. That's actually wild when you think about it, because a lot of people are picking Florida. I've been high on Florida all year, I'm looking at that region, and it's making me second guess whether I'm going to take them or not, because that is a brutal road. Okay, but you like Colorado State. I like Colorado State as well. Nick Clifford, their best player, is going to be a pro. Jeff Vex talked about him last week.
Vex says he's a bitch, though.
He did say he was a bitch.
Maybe he'll be ready for the tournament.
But he was playing. He's averaging like 29 a game the last 6 games, so he is playing well, but he is very soft. What would you say that line is?
Which one?
Colorado State and Memphis.
Memphis by 3.
Man, I have a feeling they're going to have Memphis a little bit higher. I'm going to say Memphis by 4.5. Nope, you're closer again.
No idea.
Colorado State is 2 and... Wait, is that right? Colorado State is a 2.5 point favorite.
Oh,
wow.
Been playing so good.
Oh, you know what? Sorry, I forgot. That you know what? The reason is they wouldn't be favored. Tyrese Hunter got hurt. Their second best player for Memphis, and he's not. They don't think he's going to play in the tournament.
Yeah, they have to have him.
So that's actually a big reason why that number is the way that it is.
Colorado State.
I don't know what that would be otherwise, but I have a feeling Memphis would be at least favored in that game. Okay, Maryland, Grand Canyon. Look, this one's simple for me. Grand Canyon is worse than they were last year, and they're playing a much better team than they did last year in the first round. I know they won last year. They have Tyan Grant Foster, who everybody thinks is a professional basketball player in the NBA. I think this isn't even going to be close. I think Maryland's going to absolutely stomp them.
Yeah, I think Maryland's pretty damn good. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there, but yeah, I was thinking about Hunter, and then someone texted me over here. But yeah, no, Maryland. I think when we were talking about the show, I said my 2, and it was before Maryland kind of went on a big run, and like I absolutely gave the kiss of death to Iowa State, but my other 2 teams that I said that could make a run to a Final Four were Maryland and Clemson. And I would, if Maryland was in any other region and didn't have to square off against Florida in the Sweet 16, I would think they would still have a chance to do it. So
I actually like both of those to go to the Final Four. Maryland is a team I've been super high on, too. I had them to win the Big Ten tournament. Yeah. But I agree, it's just a tough region. They're going to get Florida in the Sweet 16. I mean, that's just brutal.
Yep.
Well, I accidentally looked. So what do you think the line is? I won't guess.
Maryland by, let's see. 9.5.
You're pretty on right here. It's 10.5. Pretty close.
Not bad.
9.5. I think that's probably the right number, 10.5, 9.5, because I think if you have it any higher, you're going to see Grand Canyon money. Anything lower, it's just too much value on Maryland there.
Yeah.
Grand Canyon can't shoot. They're like one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the country. So going to be tough if you're playing a high-scoring team who can defend.
Right.
Okay, next one, Missouri Drake. This one's super interesting. If you haven't watched Drake play, there are a bunch of D2 kids. The coach came over from Northwest Missouri State. The kids came over from Northwest Missouri State, which is a D2 school. And yet Bennett Sturts, who was a D2 player his whole career, was the player of the year in the MVC, Missouri Valley. And they won their regular season. They won however many games was it? 30 games almost? Yeah, 30-3. And they are very, very good, but they're slow, small, and they play super, super slow pace. They're playing Missouri, who loves to play as fast as possible and has a ton of athletes. It's like a complete contrast of styles. What wins out here? I really wanted to pick Drake. Drake has been at the tournament the last 2 years and had a chance to win both games and lost both close. I do not think this is close. I just think Missouri is going to be too big and too athletic for them. Now, they get a lead and stifle Missouri and slow them down. Could they win this outright? Absolutely. But I think this goes one of two ways.
Right.
Either quickly early on, you see Missouri overwhelm them, or this is a tight game and Drake pulls it out late. I don't think it goes any other way.
Yeah, Drake needs to try to get up like 7 or 8 points early and just play, which they do. They'll take the whole shot clock out, shoot a 3, try to get a rebound, take the full 20 off, and then do the exact same thing. They literally walk the ball up the court.
Yes.
So
they lead the
like
country.
You said, it's just completely polar opposite teams. I'm going to say the line on this one is, this is an 11-6 matchup. Is that right? I'm going to say the line is Missouri by 8.
Yeah, that's probably. I'm going to say 7. I'm going to say 7. It is. Man, I was going to say 6.5. It's 6.5. Yeah.
Okay.
Missouri minus 6.5.
Which is just because probably the pace that Drake plays at, right?
Yeah, I mean, like you think about this, like Missouri's scored over 81 points per game in their last 10 games, and the total on this game is 133.5. Right. So it's just you're going to have a smaller number. I said if Drake
played St. Mary's, that was the matchup I was looking for. I wanted like the total would be 100 points.
Well, 118, yeah, literally. It was a joke. Okay, so did you pick Missouri or Drake?
No, I think Missouri will win.
Okay,
I think they're just too athletic.
I'm taking Texas Tech in this next matchup. Texas Tech is another team I thought could make a Final Four run if they were healthy. Got stuck in this region, going to have to play St. John's in the Sweet 16. I know it's tough, but I'm taking them to win this game.
I hope they both get there.
I do too.
A fun game. I'm taking Texas Tech.
Line?
They probably. I'm
going to say
12-point favorites.
I was going to say 13.5. It is 14.5. Yeah, this is a team. UNCW actually probably should be a 15 seed. They're ranked pretty low in Ken Palm. I don't know why they got them as a 14, but regardless, they didn't even win their regular season conference.
Can you scroll down on the computer?
Yes, we've got one more or two more.
Just one more here.
Two more. Kansas, Arkansas, 7-10.
I'm taking the Jayhawks.
I'm taking Arkansas.
I gotta be a Jayhawk homer.
What's the line here? I think Kansas is favored, but it's not by a lot.
I would guess it's Kansas.
I'm gonna say 2.5.
4.
You probably are closer. It is 5.5. 5.5.
That's probably too many.
Yeah, I think that's going to come down, actually. Yeah. Okay.
Johnny's beat the shit out of Omaha.
We won't even pick the line there.
Slick Rick and the boys.
Johnny's, Will St. Johnny's. Okay, Duke is going to move on. We're going to move to the top right now as I scroll up here. We're in the East bracket now, East region. We've got Duke taking on a playing game. That's an easy walk-in winner. Yep. Now we got an interesting one. It feels like Mississippi State is an 8 seed in every single tournament they're in, and they are once again an 8 seed. They're taking on Baylor, who's a 9 seed. Talk about a team who has not played well down the stretch. I'll tell you this. I pick Mississippi State in the 8-9 matchup every fucking year, they always lose. But I'm going to do it again out of principle because they're playing fucking Baylor.
Yeah, I want them to be Baylor. Fuck Baylor. All right, Mississippi State.
What do you think that line is?
Man, they give Baylor a decent amount of respect. But Mississippi State plays an SEC. I'm gonna say Mississippi State by 1. I don't know. I think it's gotta be a pick'em.
Yeah, I would say 1.5.
Gotta be a pick'em ish.
It is 1.5. 1.5 Mississippi State. It actually opened Baylor 1.5, but it's now Mississippi State 1.5.
I just figured it would be 1 either way, basically.
Okay, so there's been money on Mississippi State then there. All right, Oregon and Liberty. This is going to be an upset pick for me.
I'm taking Liberty here.
Liberty has...
They score a gazillion points a game.
Yeah, and they have like one of my favorite players in the tournament. His name is escaping me at the moment. I'm trying to look it up here as I'm talking this out. But, Caden... No, that's not him. Sorry. Colin Porter. He is 5'10", 160 pounds soaking wet. And he can shoot the shit out of it. 44% from three on the season, nice. 50% from the field, 80% free throw shooter. He's a fucking G, and they beat Kansas State in the early in the year. They beat K-State on a neutral floor, who I know they weren't great this year, but talent-wise, who they got in the portal, that was a very talented team, and they beat them outright on a neutral floor.
They have one of the best coaches in college basketball.
Who is that?
Jerome Tang.
Jerome Tang is a dumbass.
Fucking genius.
Absolute dumbass. Anyway.
Going after the black coaches again, Bailey.
Hubert Davis sucks too, by the way. Okay, should have been fired. So does Rodney Terry. Anyway.
Wow.
Anyway, trifecta right there. Moving on.
Well, what's the line on that one? My guess was that it's going to be Oregon by 3.
Really? You think it's going to be Oregon by 3? I'm going to say Oregon by 5.5. Let's see. I think it's a little higher. I think it could even be as close to 7, but I'm going to say 5.5. Yeah, 7.5. Sorry. It opened 5.5, and then it's now 7.5. Yeah. Well, just
good luck with that.
I think I like Liberty.
Oregon backers.
Yeah, I like Liberty.
Oregon is not good. I've seen them play a lot. I know they weren't very good last year and made that run too. And whatever his name is, Altman, Dana.
Yeah, he's a good coach in March, but I like Liberty in that matchup.
I just don't know how that one's 7.5 and Michigan UC it's 2.5.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. Listen, if Liberty, that's why I don't understand that, because if Liberty played UC San Diego, okay, on a neutral field or neutral site, UC San Diego might be favored by 2.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Liberty's better than Irvine, and they were favored by what, 5.5 against Irvine? Or is it more?
I don't think Liberty is better than Irvine metrically.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't think Irvine's very good. I saw him play.
Irvine only lost so I think UC San Diego lost 4. Irvine lost 4 or 5. UC Irvine was on the next 4 out. They were actually on the next 4.
Really?
Yeah, and they were on the next.
Shit.
And they
well, then they would have been favored. They would have been favored by more than.
I think they were. Let's see what they are in KenPom. I want to say they're top 40. They were. Oh no, they're a little bit lower. They're 56. 56 is UC.
What is
Irvine.
Liberty?
Liberty, I believe, was like 69 actually.
Okay.
So you might be right. They would be. Irvine would be a small favorite. No, Liberty. Oh yeah, 62, 56 and 62. So they'd be a small favorite versus Liberty. But no, I do agree with you though. Like that doesn't make a lot of sense the way they have that numbered. I agree with that. Okay.
And I just think Michigan is. Listen, I don't think Michigan's great, right? And they're beat up after going through the tournament, but I do think they're better than Oregon.
No, they are better than Oregon. Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know. That's weird.
It's just
a double.
I think it's a numbers thing, like the way it shakes out. But I agree with you. Here's another interesting one. Arizona is a very volatile team. Caleb Love can win you a game, he can lose you a game, and they're playing a very good Akron team. Does Tommy Lloyd lose in the first round again here?
Arizona by 15.
Really? That's the line, or that's what you're predicting?
No, that's what's going to happen.
I
saw what Akron's done against good teams. They're ass.
I think Arizona wins.
I think the MAC is hot ass.
No, it is
all
bad.
Those teams are
they're
horrible.
really bad.
And then Akron against top 100 teams, and I saw it lost by like 20, 30, 20, and 18. Like they just got smoked.
I don't think they're going to beat Arizona, but they beat Omaha, who's a tournament team. They played Arkansas State really close on the road earlier in the year, who was probably a tournament team.
That was the only team they played close.
Yeah, they got beat by Yale by 14.
Yeah, Yale beat them by 14. That's the one I saw. Yeah, Arizona's going to beat them by
But they've
15.
won, I believe, like 19 out of 20 or 20 out of 21. Their only loss was at Ohio. Anyway, I agree, though. I think Arizona wins. I think it's closer than you think. I'm going to say the line on this is 8.5.
I think the line's going to be 11.
Yeah, you might be right.
They give Arizona a lot of respect. I don't know why.
What did I say? 8.5.
I don't think they're very good. I think they're going to beat them by 15.
15.5.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, there you go.
Sorry. I keep looking at open. So open 15.5. It's 13.5 now. Okay. Next one. Scrolling down, we've got BYU, who traditionally seems to be a 6 seed. Here's an interesting one. VCU wins
I'm
this.
a VCU backer.
I
told you I love how hard.
How dare you go against the Mormons?
And they play tackle football.
Do they really?
Dude, when I saw him play George Mason in that game, it was at VCU. It was like George Mason didn't score for 15 minutes, and it's like, well, because they were getting tackled going up the floor. They didn't have a guy who dribbled the ball. This game's all decided. So this game is 800% decided by the referees.
Yeah,
If the referees let them play, VCU wins. If they don't, BYU wins by double digits. It's that simple.
No, I agree with you 100%.
It depends how it's officiated. What's that line on this?
Man, I'm going to guess. Shit, this is a tough one because VCU's ranked pretty high. There's no way BYU's favored by more than 6. I'm gonna say BYU by. They've been playing really good, but they haven't gotten a lot of respect. 4.5.
I think they're gonna make BYU 5-point favorite.
Yeah, I said 4.5. Let's see.
That'd be my guess.
BYU. This line is. I don't know. The VCU. It opened 3.5 and it's now 2.5.
There you go.
So there's money on VCU right there. Yeah, I mean, the matchup predictor is 57-43. It's right. I mean, this could go either way. I agree, though. If I were betting this game, I'd watch the first 5 minutes and see how it's officiated.
Yeah.
And then you pretty much know who's going to win.
Yeah, just see how it's being officiated.
Wisconsin, Montana. Montana, I thought was actually a pretty decent team, but I don't know that this is a good matchup. I'm taking Wisconsin.
Wisconsin's going to beat up on them pretty good, I think.
What do you think the line is there? I'm going to say Wisconsin by 16.
Say 18.
It is. You might be actually closer. It might be a little higher. It is 16.5.
There you go. Really close.
16.5.
Oh,
so
here we go. The Slobberknocker Super Bowl. Next
what
game
is it?
up.
Oh, baby. St. Mary's and your Vanderbilt Commodores, Bailey. All right. I am doing it right now. Like I said, we got into the tournament, and our women, and women.
You got a fucking mouse in your pocket? What do you mean we?
Got into the tournament, okay? And so I'm riding with my Commodores to win this game, and then they're going to upset Alabama in round 2, baby. Give me the Commodores to the Sweet 16. A.J. Hoggard and the boys, they're going to the Sweet 16. They're taking down St. Mary's, and then they're going to take down Alabama. Watch it happen. Give me the boys with Vandy.
I'll pick Vanderbilt. St. Mary's always blows it in the tournament.
What's that line? I say it's a pick 'em.
I think it's going to be St. Mary's by
I was about to change mine to St. Mary's by 2.5, but I'll stay with Pick'em. You're probably right. I'll say Vanderbilt or Vandy by 1. I'll say is my prediction. Bailey, have you seen the line or no? Really? They are not giving a lot of love. Yeah, you're right. It's 4.5. It's down to 3.5. I get it. Vanderbilt hasn't played well down the stretch, but the thing about it is they have given no love to these bottoming SEC teams. Like Arkansas is a pretty decent sized dog. Vandy's a decent sized dog. Oklahoma's a decent sized dog. Like I thought all of them would be pick 'em or favored, but they have not given those bottom SEC teams any credit, at least on the lines. All right, let's go down to we're both taking Alabama to beat Robert Morris. There's going to be 1,000,000 points in that game. What was the total on that game? What do you think the total is?
I don't know. You guessed 180.
I guess it was 180. I'm going to say it's 181. What do you think?
177.
It's low. It's way lower than I thought. 165.5.
No idea. Yeah.
That's crazy. Alabama's a 22.5 point favorite. All right, last region. We're gonna scroll down here. Is this the Midwest? I think this is the Midwest. So you got Houston, gonna take down Edwardsville, obviously. Then here we go. Gonzaga, Georgia. Who do you got?
Gonzaga.
Really? I'm going to take the Zags, too. I thought you were going to take Georgia. I'll take the Zags, too. What's the line on that? I'm going to say Gonzaga. The way they've been treating these SEC teams and the way they treat Gonzaga, this line is Gonzaga by 7 is my guess.
I'm going to say 6.
The line is 6.5, right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
And then it moved down to 5.5. Open 6.5, moving down to 5.5. Okay. Next one, we've got Clemson and McNeese. McNeese couldn't do it last year. Can they do it this year? I know you like Clemson.
I used to love McNeese, and they just got blown out so bad last year. I think I had them going to the Sweet 16. The problem is the Southland is just so bad at basketball. That conference is real bad. It's a shame, but give me Clemson.
Give me Clemson as well. That line, I'm gonna say they don't love Clemson. Give me Clemson by 8? 7.
Is this a 5-12?
Yeah, Clemson by 7.
It's going to be Clemson by 5.5.
Really?
Yeah.
I say 7. Let's see.
I don't know.
7.5. Yeah.
There you
go. I just think McNeese is rated lower this year than they were last year.
Yeah.
Okay, Purdue and High Point. Here's an upset for you. I'm taking High Point. I've been saying this all year. Purdue is horrible defensively. I know Braden Smith is a good guard, and they have some guys who can shoot it. They don't have enough pieces around their best players, and they can't defend a lick. I think High Point is actually a pretty damn good team. First time in the tournament, they're going to pull a big upset and win this game.
I'll take Purdue. They suck, though.
Line on the game, I'm gonna say Purdue. Same thing. I think it's Purdue 7.
I think it's gonna be Purdue by 11.
Well, interesting enough, we're both. It opened 10.5, and it is now 7.5. So it tells you where the sharp money is. 3-point move in a day. 3-point move in a day on High Point. They're a live dog. I'm telling you, they're a good team. They're a very good team, and Purdue can't play defense. That totals in the high 150s. There's just not. It's gonna be in the 70s and 70s or 80s. All right. Next one, we got Texas Xavier. I think we both probably think Texas beats Xavier. You think Texas beats Xavier, or do you like Xavier?
No, I think Texas beats Xavier.
Okay, and you said this. You said last night you thought Texas would beat Illinois if they win.
Right.
You agree?
Yeah.
I say the same thing. I think Texas. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they lose to Xavier.
Illinois.
Illinois sucks.
They're all over the place.
They shoot more threes than anybody in the country, and they shoot 30% from three. It makes no sense.
And they have guys out there that look like they should be. Wait, where did what's his name go? The guy who was like the Ukrainian guy, Donetsk or whatever. Where the fuck did he go?
I think he graduated.
Threes. Oh, did he?
Yeah, because he was at Southern Illinois, the Salukis, for a while, and then I think this was his last year. I think he was a 5th-year senior.
Got it.
Maybe a 7th-year senior in this day and age. Okay, we've got Kentucky and Troy. I've got Kentucky, but this is going to be Troy will hang in there for the first half at least, I think. I'm going to say Kentucky will win this game by 10. They'll run away with it at the end.
I'll say Kentucky by 13.
Oh, sorry. Are we guessing? Was that the line or how much we're guessing? But I was guessing how much they're going to win by. What do you think the line is?
13.5.
I'll say, without him out, I'll say 14. I think you're right. I think it's right there. Line is 11.5. Okay. Last two. UCLA. Sorry, I forgot to scroll down here. UCLA and Utah State, fade the Mountain West. Give me UCLA in this one.
Yeah,
I don't like UCLA.
Utah State's been a horrible. What is the line in that game?
I'm going to actually guess that UCLA is favored by 9.
Oh, no.
You don't think so?
I'm going to say it's UCLA by 4.
6, yeah.
So in the middle.
6,
yeah,
I guess UCLA just sucks.
UCLA is not very good.
No, they're not, and they don't score a lot, but Utah State's been so bad.
Yeah.
And like every result they've not covered.
My Tennessee Volunteers are going to destroy Wofford.
All right, let's just do this. We're not going to
Bailey's alma mater.
We're not going to pick the rest of the games, but just give me, in the top left region, who's in your Elite 8 and who wins the Elite 8. So give me.
You got to go back up there.
Yeah, I'm going. Okay, so we got bracket here. It's the Auburn. So you got who wins this part right here. Auburn to Yale. That's the Elite 8 team number 1.
Auburn will get there.
Okay, I agree. I think Auburn's there. Then we got the bottom half of the South. This is the bottom half of the South.
Michigan State's going to get there.
Yeah, I hate to do chalk there, but that's what's going to happen probably.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Going down to the West. Florida, Maryland, kind of the two favorites here.
I got Florida getting there.
I got Florida as well, and I'll tell you this. I'm going to look into it. If Texas Tech is healthy.
I'm taking Texas Tech.
If Texas Tech is healthy, I'm going to take Texas Tech.
Because I want to root for them, and the time I didn't, they should have won the national championship.
Okay, if you're taking Tech, I'll take St. John's, but I think Tech can beat them if they're healthy. I think that'll be a really good game. Okay, who would you take real quick? I forgot to ask you. If it's Auburn and Michigan State.
Michigan State.
Really? I'm going to say Auburn. I think I don't trust Bruce Pearl, but I think Auburn's too good for Michigan State in a one-off matchup. Okay, and then Florida versus for UTEC from East St. John's. I'm taking Florida.
Yeah, I think Florida's going to get there.
Okay, then you got in this top half of the East.
Unfortunately, I got Duke.
Yeah, there's really nobody I see like that can give them a challenge there. They gave them a pretty easy road. Maybe if BYU was like on fire from 3, but give me Duke there. And then the bottom half, I'm going to take Wisconsin to come out of this bottom half. I think Wisconsin gets to the Elite 8. They're going to take care of Montana. I think they'll beat BYU or VCU. And then I think, like I said, I'm picking Vanderbilt to beat Bama. And I think even if Bama were to get there, I think Wisconsin would beat them. I like Wisconsin to win that game. Or win that side part of the region.
I'm going to go crazy here. I'm going to take VCU to go to the Elite 8.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I love it.
Just depends how the games are officiated.
The madness.
If they let them play.
The madness is
here.
If
they let them play. No one can dribble.
Who wins between VCU and Duke?
Oh, Duke. I got Duke there. I hate having
I'm gonna
2 1s and a 2, but
yeah, me too. And I have 3 1s.
I just wanted to have one team that was
Dude, the problem
non-chalky going to the Final
The problem
Four.
is I want to too, and I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do. But the problem is if you take like all the teams that I liked, they're all in the same region. So it's like I wanted to have Maryland, I wanted to have Tech, I wanted to have St. John's, I wanted to have Michigan State. They're all in those 2 regions.
Yeah, it sucks. They're all right there together. I agree.
Okay, top half of the Midwest: Houston, Gonzaga, Purdue, Clemson. I'm actually gonna pull something that you said earlier. I just don't trust Houston in a tournament setting.
You can't take Clemson to go to the Final Four.
I didn't say I'm going to the Final Four. I said I'm taking Clemson to win this, to go to the Elite Eight.
Oh, you bitch.
Okay, fine. I'll take Houston. Fuck it. I'll go chalk. Give me Houston. Fuck it. Fuck you.
What a loser. All chalk. He's got all 1s in his Final Four. What a bit. You and Jay Williams makes me sick. Big Cat commented. It was like Jay Williams' final. It was 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 in the fucking Elite Eight. It's so funny.
So you got Clemson?
Yeah.
I think Clemson could get there too, but I'll say Houston. Okay.
Clemson could easily lose to McNeese. It's
yeah,
a problem,
they definitely could. I'm taking Tennessee to win this whole bracket, this whole side of the bracket.
Yeah, so
sorry, Bailey.
The problem is I'm gonna take.
I may change my real bracket.
Here's the thing: I'm gonna have Clemson going to the
Final Four,
the Elite Eight. No, but I'm gonna have Tennessee going to the Final Four only because.
Are you gonna pick them to win it?
Who?
Tennessee?
Possibly.
Yeah,
there's a strong chance I do.
I'm gonna have Tennessee in the Final Four either way.
Yeah, there's a strong chance I do, mainly because I just don't. First of all, I don't want Duke to win it. There's gonna be so many people on Duke. I have a feeling in the bracket challenge, I'll be the only person on Tennessee, and I think they can win.
But you are one, and you and one other. Okay, give me Tennessee. So Tennessee versus Duke. You have who winning? Tennessee.
Yeah, I'll take Tennessee.
And then what about you had Michigan State and Florida?
Florida. I have Tennessee beating Florida in the final.
I have Florida beating
Duke.
Sorry, Florida beating Auburn in the top.
Oh, yeah.
And then I have Duke beating Tennessee, and then I have Florida beating Duke in the championship. That's my championship. Now, I don't know that that's going to be my bracket because I always end up picking the favorites when I'm looking through it the first time, and I change.
Right.
For the first look, that's that. Okay, so we've filled out our brackets. We've gone through that. So you said
here
quick,
in San Antonio, concert lineup is fucking insane.
What is
see it, Bailey? Coca-Cola spent like $1 gazillion. Friday, it's like they got it's like the hip hop. I guess it's like Pitbull and somebody else. Saturday is like Jelly Roll and somebody else, and then Sunday's Chris Stapleton, Nathaniel Ratcliffe, and the Night Sweats, and they spent all those bands cost a shit ton of money to get.
Chimaka should be opening. We should be getting some.
That's a good point.
By the way, we need to try to get, hopefully, like when Dave comes in town, Dave Portnoy and Big Cat, we got to try to see where they're going to go get their pizza and get them to go over to Florio's or something. I'm going to try to tweet at Dave, get him to go to Florio's because I know he's already been to Julian's.
Bailey, why don't you hit us a little AC over there? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he went to Julian's. Yeah, and he gave him like a 7-7.
Yeah, no, it was like 7-8.
7-8.
Yeah,
it was a good
high score.
I actually like Julian's.
I think Julian's pizza is pretty solid.
So here's the thing: when I first went there and got the pizza, I got the lunch special, and that they give you one giant
That's
slice.
Not as good as
and they don't cook it the same as the other ones. When you get a full pizza, and especially if you get it crispy, it's actually really, really good. It's one of my favorite pizzas in San Antonio. Yeah. Now, I don't think it's as good as Florio's. Florio's is my favorite, and I also really like Grimaldi's. I know Dave doesn't like chains. But
no, but he still scored Grimaldi's in 8.
Yeah, Grimaldi's is very, very solid.
Good, yeah.
Grimaldi's is good. Different style of pizza, but I would say Florio's is the top in San Antonio. It has been for a while. We kind of went through all the bracket here. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I want to go over. Here, this is a fun one. Give me a double-digit seed most likely to reach the Final Four.
Oh, okay, I like this one.
You already said you liked VCU. So give me somebody besides VCU that you like, because I know you already picked. You would pick them if it was them. They're in 11. Give me somebody besides VCU.
In my bracket, I probably won't have them going to the Final Four, but we'll see. Actually, you know what? I probably will because I have Clemson going far anyway. A double-digit seed that can potentially make it to the Final Four.
Yeah, it's actually a tough one here. Looking at it. And you're going to make fun of me, but I think Vanderbilt might be the best bet here. If they get past Bama, Wisconsin and BYU are beatable, and then they just have to have one big upset over Duke, and who knows if Duke loses before that. So I'll say Vanderbilt's actually the likely. They could lose in the first round. Any double-digit seed should lose in the first round, but I'll say Vanderbilt is the most likely double-digit seed. If Texas had a better coach, I would say Texas.
You know what's funny? Just looking at it, VCU is my pick. If Texas gets through the play-in game, if you're talking just a straight double-digit, it's Texas because they're in. That's probably
the easiest
bottom.
Yeah,
and they have a guy who's going to be a top 5 pick in the draft.
He might have played himself into a top 3 pick.
That's
a
what
lot
I mean.
of people are saying that.
Just straight ball. So it's like if you have a guy that can just take over a game, and on paper Texas is pretty talented, that would be weirdly enough.
I don't think they just played Tennessee, and Rick Barnes had just such a good game plan for him. I don't think they have any shot to get through Tennessee, but I agree with you. Like that's probably the best shot other than them. Vanderbilt, I could see VCU for sure.
VCU just, I mean, it's their first 2 games is just BYU. Depending on how that's called, Wisconsin to me is beatable. Then Alabama hadn't been great. It's obviously the odds of them. Honestly, in my bracket, I'll probably have Duke there. I would take VCU to Elite 8 for fun to see if they can make a run, but they could easily lose in the first round.
Sure.
So you just lose all those points on the competition.
But if you're picking Tennessee, then it matters less.
Yeah, it's true. True.
For me, if I'm picking Florida, it matters a lot. That's why I kind of almost have to go a little more chalk. The other thing I would say is I actually think UC San Diego is one of the best double-digit seeds, but they fucked them. If they somehow get past Michigan, they then probably get A&M. If they get past A&M, they probably get Auburn. And if they get past Auburn, they probably get Michigan State. That would be the hardest road to a Final Four ever. Is the thing is, I see them very similar to Loyola Chicago. But Loyola Chicago had a lot of things break their way in who they had to play.
Yeah.
Like Alabama got bounced that year, who was the number 1 overall seed. They didn't have to see them. They beat Tennessee.
Right.
Like it's
so
just
much of it has to do with what teams blow it in your side. So anyway, it should be fun.
Here we go. I got a top 5. We're gonna do a top 5 list. Ready? Top 5 college basketball names this season. All right? Ready? Here we go. Honorable mention. We got number 1 honorable mention. Frederico.
I like Frederico.
From Pittsburgh.
He's been a staple for a while.
Yep. Okay. Number 2, Burger Irvington. I actually didn't write down where he was from.
His mama, he likes burgers. That's why they call him Burger Irvington.
Birgir.
Oh,
Burger.
So that's his actual real name.
Burger Irvington. Oh, no. These are all their real names. All right. Here we go. Number 5. Best names in college basketball. Jizzle James, Cincinnati.
Jizzle James is good. That's Edgerrin James' kid.
Is it actually?
Yeah, Jizzle James.
And that's his real name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jizzle James. All right. Number 4. This had to be the parents had to have made this as a joke. Number 4. Churchill Bounds, guard Wagner. Yes, Churchill Bounds. It was like, his last name is Bounds. It'd be funny if we named him Churchill.
Like it. Churchill Bounds.
We're getting better and better. Number 3, Tennessee Rainwater.
Oh, yeah, that's a kid. Where does he play
guard, Utah Tech.
Yeah.
Utah Tech.
Yeah. Who's the kid? He's one at Utah Tech. Is it North Dakota who's got a kid that's straight res ball? He's got a name like that just balls.
Res ball?
Yeah, no, like straight off the reservation, like a res ball kid. Like, look up North Dakota's.
It's not Gob Gob, is it? Gob Gob plays for Kansas City.
No. Let me look up the name.
I'm going to finish the list real quick while you're going.
Go.
Okay? All right. Go. Number 2. This one is great. Number 2, Fat Brooks, guard, Michigan.
That's not his God-given name. His name is
Phatpat. That's his real name. Fat Brooks. Fat Brooks.
No wonder the guy can ball.
Here's number 1, and the number 1 college basketball name this season. Po' Boy King, guard, North Carolina Central. P-O''Boigh King. And his middle name is Izza. Po' Boy is a king.
Now that's
Po' Boy is a king. That is the number 1 college basketball name this season. Yes. All right.
That's a pretty good list.
I had some other ones on here that were pretty good.
The guy's name that balls for North Dakota is named Tyson Eaglestaff.
Oh, I've heard that name. Yeah.
And he scores like a shit ton of points a game.
Yeah, he actually
he reminds me of he's let's see how tall he is. Yeah, dude, you know who he reminds me of? He's like Marshall Henderson. He's like 6'5" and just shoots all game.
Marshall Henderson was at the Ole Miss game this weekend, and he was right behind the bench going nuts when Pagula hit the 3 to beat Arkansas at the buzzer. It was awesome. I was talking greatest microwave in college basketball history. He could go 1 for 19 or he could go for 40 any given night. Some of the other ones on here were pretty good. Legend Geeter was from Detroit Mercy. We had Tony from UAB. Sir Mohammed, Notre Dame.
Sir Mohammed's a good one.
Like I said, Gob Gob, Kansas City. Kai Yu, Liberty. Supreme Cook, Oregon.
Supreme Cook's nice.
Cleron Hornbeak, Kent State.
The best was the kid that went to that went to like Nebraska, and his name was DE apostrophe Coldest, the Coldest, and his middle name was like Taeva, and then whatever, like Taeva, whatever. And he did a bunch of NIL ads for like the local HVAC companies.
Oh, I love
air
it.
Conditioning.
It's pretty
the
good.
Coldest.
The other one I was gonna say I'm done is Townsend Thripple and Con Knipple, the Nipple brothers from BYU and Duke. Not the same, not actual brothers, but they're the Nipple brothers. And there also is a guy named George Washington II, or the third. I don't know if he's related to the actual George Washington.
Of course he is.
In some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Nope. Go Commodores. Our Commodores. Bailey, like a Bailey laughing.
Bailey's laughing. By the way, go Xavier. Knock out Texas. Horns. No. I'm not going to do it, but Horns.
3 more years of Rodney Terry.
That's never happening. He's
3
out.
more years of Rodney.
He's out. Make sure if you're new to the channel, like and subscribe. Okay. Enjoy college basketball this weekend. This is the best weekend for me of the year. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You got 16 games on Thursday, 16 on Friday, 8 on Saturday, 8 on Sunday, and then at that point, guys, all we got left is the NBA playoffs, and things are starting to wind down here. It's gonna be depressed for a while.
NHL playoffs. Okay.
NHL playoffs.
Show some fucking respect.
And I guess we do have the UFL. So, thank you, Bailey. WNBA, and I forgot WNBA or not. All right, have a good one. We'll catch you guys next time.